Welcome to Content Chaos with George and Call, a weekly podcast diving straight into meaningful conversations about navigating modern life. Using their weekly review framework, they explore personal growth, professional insights, and cultural observations. No fluff, just authentic dialogue that transforms chaos into clarity.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Snow day.
Yep.
Snow
Lots
day.
of snow. Lots of snow.
I appreciate that you dug out a little path to the Humbirdie so I could continue to care for our winged pals in the backyard.
Yeah. Well, I did the best I could given I didn't want to tear up any grass or anything, but you can
was
get to it.
perfect.
So good.
Yeah, so this morning I woke up, I looked outside. It was a beautiful winter wonderland. And then I checked the Humbirdie to see if any birds are getting fed. And it was so covered in snow. The ledge with the food was covered with snow, but birds were still coming. There was an odd collection of snow on the little perch. So I went out and cleared off the perch and I cleaned it out so the bird feed could still come out. And I have to go back and check on them again. But appreciate the pathway that you made for me.
Yeah. We saw birds out there
Yeah.
this morning. Your adjustments worked
Yes.
for sure. Yeah.
So, welcome back. The beginning of a new week. It's snowy here in New Jersey. So, would you like to kick us off?
Sure. Start with what went well. I've been going with like the family personal side and then the business side. I'll keep doing that. I feel like the theme on the family side is like this that's taking place for everybody. So,
The what?
a shift that's taking
Okay.
place for everyone. So, we've got one junior in college over abroad in Europe right now. She's just living her best life. So she's shifted to, just world travel and all that. But our youngest son we'll say son, who's a freshman, landed a job and he's been negotiating his schedule like a champ. And, that's just nice to see. And he's been very thoughtful about it and, professional about it. So that's nice. And then our youngest, I feel like she, I really felt it this week, like the transition to I'd say semi-independent tween where, I really feel like, okay, she doesn't need to be entertained all the time. And she's doing a good job of coming up with stuff that she wants to do. And, took her to the mall with a friend. And it was, I knew I was going to be letting them, go do their thing. And then I realized, wow, I get to take them to the mall and just sit here and get a little work done in a coffee shop. This is actually not bad. And side note, the mall, Bridgewater Commons, it was like taking a time travel back to the mid 80s. It was packed. It was really weird to walk into a mall and, it was good. They were having like a Lunar New Year celebration, but we didn't go anywhere near that. There were people all over in the stores and walking around. It really was, it was unexpected because we've gone to that mall, again, been to a lot of malls here and there. And even at the holidays, it's just not like it used to be, but this was weird. So that was a little side note. And yeah, so then on the business front, I think, I just continue to reap the benefits of taking my own medicine. I really, during the end of last year, started to implement some things around focus and around, targeting and messaging. And it's really come to fruition with launching some new things. And I'm seeing the benefits of that work, starting to reap the benefits of new projects and new conversations. And so, so that was what went well this week on both sides. And you?
Thank you. Okay, so that story of the mall being crowded, like, why did it surprise you?
Because they're usually dead now. Like, we're watching YouTube videos about how malls are, they're calling them ghost malls. And even having gone to that mall over the holidays, it's like, it's kind of depressing, like it's like, there's just, you're able to park, which is good. I'm not complaining about that. But,
Yeah.
It's just like you see like stores are shut down. There aren't a lot of people here. It just doesn't feel good. And so this was surprising to me. Like I had to drive through 3 different areas in the parking lot to find a parking spot.
Yeah.
Like that was like,
I really believe that it's about supply and demand, and that we get to a point where we create too many malls, too much supply, and then there's not enough people to be populating all of them. And this is kind of the same thing with movie theaters too, where people want to go to movies, and it bothers me when people are like, "Oh, the world has moved on from the theatrical model." They really haven't. It's a behavior that people have fallen out of because, for a variety of factors, COVID being one of them, but also the supply. There haven't been consistent supply of films. So if you don't have a consistent thing that's getting people to come, and you know they fall out of the habit. Anyway, I was just curious to hear
yeah.
your thoughts on the
I
mall
mean,
thing.
I think we're in a little bit of a unique bubble. Not unique. I mean, I know there are a few other areas like this in the country, but this is a very densely populated area, and income wise, on average, very high median income. I mean, the state, not
Yes.
necessarily particularly where we live.
Also where we live.
Okay, but that, when I drive down the street here, there are little restaurants, there are, little shops, things are open, and not everywhere in the country, not everywhere do they have that right now. So I
Right.
feel like I know there are other places that are populated that have this kind of demographic, but it's a little different. It's not like the whole state, It's I did see an article that I didn't dive into the article, but it said the headline was about how, and this is a little to your point, Gen Z is going to the malls.
They're
So
going to the movies too.
yeah,
If you give
so
the product that they want experiences. They really
right,
do.
yeah,
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing.
sure,
What went well for me this week? Professionally, I'm just like in a very great flow state with my work. The curriculum I'm developing, the stuff I'm studying at Rutgers, all these pieces are coming together, and it's just exciting how they feed off each other, and I just get in the zone. And the other thing is bananas what I can do using Claude and Gemini. I can't even fully, I'm not trying to hype it. I'm just saying I'm a person who's done research my whole life. Research, narrative development, reports. You are too. I know you're also an enthusiast. Like, I can't believe how high quality this stuff is. And I told people like my current website that's up, like I built that website in 20 minutes by typing prompts into Claude. And it was like, okay, I have yoga at 9:30. It was, probably 8:50 when I started it. And I'm like, okay, this is what I want. This is what I want. And I literally launched it before I went to yoga. I was just like, oh my gosh, all my years of like learning HTML and doing all these complicating things and hiring people to help me with stuff and Dreamweaver and all the different Squarespace, whatever it is. And now it's like, I can type it and it's live, like almost immediately. Blows me away. And then the other thing that I think that went well this week is just there's a lot of really exciting and positive collective action happening. I think we mentioned on prior pods the Scott Galloway resist and unsubscribe, and that seems to be, having some momentum behind it. One that came across my email yesterday is his name is Bob Hoffman. He's the ad contrarian, and this is a brilliant person from the ad space, and he's encouraging people to finally, let's repeal Section 230. Let's repeal it because it is what enables big tech to evade any kind of legal responsibility for the harm they create. Let's do it. Why not? There seems to be some momentum building. We saw
maybe tell people what Section 230 is.
Yeah, it's basically the concept in the Communications Decency Act from, I think it was like 1999, that basically says they didn't want to encumber the growth of the internet. They basically made it so that internet companies are not responsible for the content that's
Right.
being passed and exchanged on their platforms. And so, ergo, all of this crazy stuff is happening, and people are committing suicide and child porn. I mean, just like Democracy is coming apart, and people are profiting off of it, and they don't have any responsibility for the negative consequences of their platforms. Repealing this, I think, is a great idea. I think it's the right time, the right environment for it. Yeah. And then lastly, there was a data center that was going to be built in New Brunswick, and the community really, New Brunswick, New Jersey, where our son goes to Rutgers, and activists rallied around it, said, hey, this is supposed to be a park and like a community center. And they were able to turn off the data center. It's encouraging. And people are starting to realize, oh, I actually have to take action and do something, and they're doing it.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah. It's interesting, the 230, Section 230 thing, because that used to come up a lot years ago. And it was still in this, like, we were in this in between phase of like, well, are they really responsible? Do you really want to hold them? And there was always an argument. And the argument against that for abolishing it was, they're really media companies, but they hid behind, no, we're not media companies. But now fast forward to today, they really have disintermediated the media business. So you can't, you look at what's happening with like Paramount and all of the companies that were held to that standard now being acquired by these tech companies because they're media companies and they need to be treated like
I
media
always
businesses.
say, why would you eat? And they have sucked up the media.
Yeah,
So
I like that.
guess what, mofos, you're media now, and you need FCC-like standards. You want all the benefits, but none of the responsibilities. Sorry, it's not how it works. It is how it works right now, but we got to change that. Yeah. And, just accountability. I like it. I like seeing Prince Andrew taken to jail. I like the accountability movement and the collective action movement. So that's what I think went well this week. Okay. What could be better?
Well, I'm going to take everyone back to the DMV with me. Last week, or in the last couple of weeks, we talked about the DMV, and I think I roughly tallied it up, and I think I invested 5 hours, not including driving there and back, to 2 trips for a 10-minute transaction that was really just, yes, the origin was self-inflicted. I didn't grow up in a state where returning your license plates within a certain amount of time was a big deal.
Well,
and most states
live
aren't.
free or die. They don't care, right?
Yeah, and most states, when it comes to license plates, are like that. You go to those bars and there's license plates all over. That's why. So return to lease, and mistake one was not returning or surrendering the plates quickly enough. Mistake two is when I got the letter, everything's busy, things coming and going. And I read the letter and I didn't really read it clearly enough. And then later read it again and realized, oh, I really need to take care of this, or like, they're going to like suspend my license until I do take care of it. So went and took care of it. Nothing bad happened, no suspensions or anything like that. But all that time over, like when they looked in the system, they're like, oh, yeah, you returned a lease. Yeah. Oh, I see you. We see you return the plates. Yeah. Okay. No problem. Click, click, click. And until the DMV, this is just my thing, until the DMV, the people were nice. The people were fine. I have nothing against the people at the DMV. They're sweethearts. But until they were very nice. Yeah, I know you had a different experience. I've had nice people, just in a bad situation for themselves too. Until that place is automated and I can do everything from my phone and all that, I'm not buying anybody's hype about AI. I'm just like we can't even get the DMV fully automated. We've got a ways to go before we are seeing tech take over everyday life. Like that's just ridiculous. But anyhow.
I mean, they wouldn't even want to focus on that because they can't make enough money off of it. But, and then also the whole privacy,
although that's only true to a point. Like those state systems tend not to just do one thing. There's a lot of money in government systems, and only a few businesses get to sell to them. Yeah. Right. So I just, anyhow, right now there are much bigger fish for them to fry, for sure. But yes, it was self-inflicted. Yes. But it was, I'll never get that time back.
Yeah.
Anyhow, how about you?
Pour one out for your time at the DMV.
You know,
Okay, so what could have been better? So again, from the perspective of a New Jersey citizen, we found out that an ICE detention center is coming to New Jersey in Roxbury, which is just the next county over. It's in Morris County. And the whole thing around it was very shady. A Dallas-based company called Dolphin Industrial sold to ICE, and over the objection of the community in Roxbury, New Jersey, the borough council thoroughly protested it, they really didn't want it. There have been protests, and DHS was saying, oh, we're not doing this. So they would basically have been very shady with their answers and replies. But ultimately, as of now, it is coming unless there's some way to stop it. And it's very interesting because number one interesting fact is that New Jersey is the second most biggest place for ICE roundups after California. It's because we have a very densely populated state. But there's a big movement now where you see on a local level that across party lines, people do not want these detention centers. They don't want anything to do with it. They don't want to be a part of inhumane treatment of people. They don't want it doesn't increase your property values, that's for sure. And it puts a drain and a strain on like the sewage systems and stuff like that. So it's very interesting to see the extreme pushback coming from both sides of the aisle. And in this county, or in our district, District 7 of New Jersey, Tom Keene Jr., the current U.S. representative from our district, has been completely silent. And the Republicans in Roxbury asked him to intervene on their behalf and to speak up, and he said nothing. So I think this will end up being either he's going to have to stop it, or they're going to really use this against him in the midterms in November. It's a very interesting thing. But bottom line, it's not good that ICE is coming to New Jersey. We don't want them here. And I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it is we saw that reporting last night from the local, public broadcasting.
NJ Spotlight News.
Yeah, and it's very bipartisan. And I don't know how that guy, I would say the only thing I know about that guy is that he's never anywhere. He doesn't do town halls. I've never seen him speak. And I don't understand how he gets elected.
I think historically, first of all, he gets elected. Sorry, I just jumped on your.
No, I was done.
Okay. His dad was Tom Keene. He was one of the most revered Republican governors of the state. So he's a Nepo baby, and he has name recognition, and he's a Republican. I have heard him speak, and he is not impressive at all. Not fast on his feet. Can't even really articulate. He talks like he has rocks in his mouth. He ran against Tom Malinowski in our district a couple elections ago, and I was thoroughly underwhelmed by him. But, we'll see what happens. We don't know who the candidate is in District 7 yet, but I think that there's a lot that Tom Keene has to answer for. Okay, so what did you learn this week, honey?
So what I learned is it's definitely something that I learned, and it's a little bit of a new, what could be better topic. So a little bit of both. So in my world, and I think in yours too, the world just erupted this past week over two things, and they're not related outside of the fact that they're both in AI. One was the new release of Claude and everything it brings to the table. Put that aside. This isn't about them. The other, but you hear it a lot of this week, Claude and OpenClaw came out. And they're not related. So that's the first thing for everyone. These two things don't go together. OpenClaw is an agent that people can install on their PC, their laptop. And then it's an agent. So it autonomously does lots of things for you using your data, your apps, your email, your calendar. And it sounds wonderful, right? Read this email and reply and put together a spreadsheet and blah, blah. And I was hearing about it, and all these people, very, very senior people that I respect in my industry, had comments about how, oh my gosh, this is incredible. This changes everything. And then I heard OpenClaw referenced with Moltbot, which is tied to Moltbook, which is a social network for agents. And It's not clear how real it is, this social network, but it's a creepy place where agents talk to agents. One of the things that happened there was a huge security breach where credit cards, these agents who
Yeah.
are agents for consumers and businesses were sharing intellectual property, credit card numbers, social security numbers. They were, talking about their humans. And that's a huge issue. So in one Google search on OpenClaw, I found that they've had multiple hacking groups have taken advantage of severe vulnerabilities in OpenClaw to steal API keys, extract persistent memory data, push information, stealing malware instead of leaving the platform's expanding user base unharmed. There have been 30,000 compromised instances to campaigns found on channels like Telegram. So they're getting this info and then sharing it on Telegram. And further incidents emerged on the OpenClaw marketplace where backdoored skills were published from accounts that appeared reliable. And then they executed remote commands that stole passwords, API keys, personal information. It's just like, that's what I learned. Like, oh my gosh, this is an incredible security threat. And the part about what could be better, it's just the hype can just get
Yeah.
anyone. The hype can get anyone. And it came out, they all downloaded it. And now God knows like what kind of mayhem is coming their way. So
Yeah.
the information's probably already gone. But anyhow, I have always, whether it was back in the day, a new iPhone or whatever, I never rush right in. I always wait, see what happens.
Yeah.
And I think it's no different here with this, right?
Yeah. Fools rush in. It's, my time at Google, we were very clear about the difference between LLMs and agentic AI, generative AI and agentic AI. And agentic AI, I mean, my gosh, you have to have real trust. And like, I don't trust any of this crap that's out there yet. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, I would not. Younger generations have such a laissez-faire view of their privacy. They don't have the concept of privacy. I think that we have, older generations have, and also just tech enthusiasts who just, oh, it's all magic. It's not magic. It's designed for corporate purposes. Yeah, I won't be doing agentic AI probably until Google does it, because I tend to trust them more. I mean, they're not perfect, but they make sure to lock things down before they put them out. That's why they, kind of trailed in the AI race, but now I think they're back on top. I don't know.
Yeah, they're right in it.
So yeah,
Yep.
it's very interesting. I did listen to that Hard Fork podcast about the guy who was attacked by an AI, like they were defaming him, and because he didn't. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I
Okay.
don't.
Sorry, that I shouldn't have brought that up. Moltbot, Clawbot,
Now it's OpenClaw.
OpenClaw. That's right.
It was called Clawbot, but then Anthropic went after them for
That's right.
copyright because it sounds like Claude-bot.
Yeah. Anything associated with OpenAI, I do not trust.
Yeah, and they are associated with OpenAI.
Yeah.
Also. So how about you?
Oh,
What did you learn this week?
okay, what I learned is a little bit more in the woo-woo field. So this is the Zen call side of me. And there's a scientist, her name is Julia Mossbridge. I kind of discovered her through the Mayim Bialik podcast, and she is one of the scientists associated with the telepathy tapes. And I'm fascinated by her work, and I'm learning about her work. And I have discovered one of these concepts that she has, which is that it's going to sound so woo-woo, but this concept called love banking. And it's that it has to do with quantum and timelines. And basically, we have the ability as humans to send love and support to our future selves and to our past selves. And in doing so can kind of change our trajectory. And it just, I know it sounds so wacky, but if you, all of this kind of research and stuff that's going on, she's like a legit scientist. It's very interesting to me. And I was having a love banking session with Charlie, like, he gets so loving sometimes where he's like, Charlie's our dog, by the way, where he is like doing these, I don't know, what would you call it? It's like, it's not purring because he's a dog. It's like a squeal or a like
If dogs could purr, that's what it.
If dogs could purr. But it was just like, I don't know, it was for like 15 solid minutes of him just like being so incredibly loving and just we were both so happy and it was just like this beautiful moment. And I just thought, wow, this is pretty cool. Like I could send this to the future or send it to the past. I love learning stuff about quantum physics, quantum healing, stuff like that. That was what I
Cool.
learned. And you did, you already went, right?
Yep, we are. That brings us to the end.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Well, thank you, hon.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Next time.
Have a good week.